behind the screen. That'd be wonderful. All right.
What?
Remember not to drink.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So
You said this.
welcome to Lake Effect. I guess we'll get started with how did you guys meet and decide to start a band?
So I started the band back in high school. Actually, it's cool because our 5-year anniversary is this year.
Oh,
And
awesome.
so, like, we were a young band, obviously a high school band, so there was a lot of lineup changes. But, like, he joined the band in 2021, and then we really grew from there.
That's good.
Right in the middle of the COVID pandemic.
Yeah, I'm sure that was
Oh, that was
interesting.
a pain, yeah.
And then how did you choose your band name? It's pretty unique. I haven't seen anything like it.
So, how I named the band was, like, I wanted to have something unique, but, like, I don't know, like, unique and also had, like, kind of a ring to it.
Yeah.
And I was researching different words on Webster, and I came across Ataraxis, which means, like, peace of mind and, like, free of stress and anxiety, and I was like,
Mental clarity. I just looked it up yesterday. I forget why I was even on the topic, but I Googled it, and Urban Dictionary or whatever popped up for it.
Oh, that's awesome. What drew you to the music industry? Like, what made you want to start?
I'll let Zaynab answer that one.
So I've actually been in music my entire life. I used to play for the Mansfield Orchestra.
Ooh.
I used to do a lot of, like, jazz stuff. I used to be a tuba player.
Ooh.
I know I'm, like, kind of small for that. But, yeah, so I've always enjoyed just writing and producing stuff that people enjoy. So entertainment of any sort, really.
Yeah. All right, sick.
Steve, do you have anything on that?
Well, I mean, wasn't a question, like, what drew you into the music scene?
Yeah.
I don't know, like, there's a lot of good artists. Like, me and him saw a band called Gosnick at the Vortex in Akron, and we always like seeing, all these different artists kind of grow and really, expand their audiences, because it's really cool to see and to, like, be a part of that. I just like the community about it.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes
So
sense.
I actually want to point out real quick on that. Steve's kind of unique on that in that he didn't really do music in school. He just kind of picked it up one day and was like, hey, I want to be in a band. Let's just do it.
I mean, it was definitely rough, but, like, once I got my feet on the ground and started running, it was awesome.
Yeah, that's good to hear. Who would you say are your biggest influences?
Oh, so my biggest influences as, like, musicians is definitely Kurt Cobain and John Lennon. Like, those are, like, Nirvana and Beatles are, like, my two favorite bands. And obviously, like, a lot of other music as well. But, like, those artists, like, I don't know. It was kind of, like, something to do with, like, soul touching. You know what I mean? It was really soul touching. And, like, for me, like, I like to translate that into my music and really, like, influence people. Same.
So I got a lot of inspiration from, like, classical artists. I've played a lot of, like, Beethoven and Tchaikovsky and Chopin, but I've also done a lot of, like, Green Day and, like, 90s era.
Yeah.
Primus.
Yeah. But for, like, recently, because I kind of took a break from music for a bit, and then I got back into it with the band, and I mostly got inspiration from, like, Zeppelin, Nirvana, Beatles, but also, like, techno as well.
Yeah.
I think that's really interesting, too.
It is.
Yeah.
That's a nice combination. What are your favorite and least favorite parts about this line of work?
Oh, man. That's a good question.
So I'll start off with the first con, like, taking stuff and carrying it upstairs and loading in all the gear because, man, like half my energy is drained by the time I get everything set
you're
up.
defeated by the time you see the stage.
Also, another thing too. Well, some of the good things about being a musician, particularly here in Northeast Ohio, is like, I don't know. I always find that there's always something going on.
Yeah.
Like, no matter if it's like a I don't know, like a Irish festival or like, a bunch of different things really. Like
Open mics.
yeah, and karaoke and stuff.
Interviews.
Yeah, but like I think that's one of the best parts about being a musician here because like just that community and like I don't know, it's cool.
Not just a musician, but an entertainer, because we're going around to all these different places and providing an entertainment for all really just any occasion.
Yeah,
just
lots of
whatever it is.
opportunities.
Yeah. So for me, I really enjoy. So we do kind of our own thing where we set a lot of stuff up ourselves, and we're like largely independent in what we do.
Yeah.
So to me, I would say that's the part that I find most enjoyable.
And most motivating as well. You know what I mean? Like,
Definitely carrying stuff is the major downside. I'm the bass player, so yeah.
Oh.
He has the biggest equipment besides the drummer. But
Alright, what advice would you give for someone wanting to follow in your footsteps?
Do it.
yeah, like I mean, you just gotta I don't know, you just gotta start. You gotta start somewhere. And if you want to really, make it, like, I don't need 1,000 pedals to make a good song.
Yeah.
Like, and I really pride myself on that. And I think, it doesn't take,
1,000 hours either.
well, there's a whole theory about that. But, you don't have to have a lot of money. You don't have to have really a whole lot of skill to really write a song that, has impact on, people's lives because I always remember the story of we were out in Chicago back in 2022 and this fan came up to me and he said going for a drive, he was like, man, that is one of our most like best songs and it's, really catchy and like, I don't know, just seeing his reaction to a song I wrote was just amazing and I don't know, I think it's great.
We had someone come up to us once and tell us that they played our music at their work.
Oh.
And it was like in a different state, somewhere far off. So just the thought of like something that we created in like an hour in a shed
Yeah.
yeah.
was being enjoyed by people
All over the globe, really.
Yeah, just anywhere, really.
Yeah, that's awesome. What are your career goals for the next 1 to 3 years?
Zane?
Interesting. So actually, we have talked about this recently. We want to expand to where we're actually hitting a international market.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've done a lot of stuff throughout the
Regional
the US,
Midwest. Yeah,
Yeah.
regional
But
Midwest.
we want to start hitting Canada some. But we also want to tour all, like, pretty much all of the U.S.
Yeah.
and not just the area that we've been.
Gotta get out there.
Yeah. This year we got a East Coast tour. We definitely want to hit up Chicago and New York while we're out and about. I know Chicago is an East
He
Coast.
wants to hit Florida this year.
It's nice, man. I won't lie, but like, I think it takes little steps to really grow, and we usually so last year, actually 2 years ago, or man, it's been 3 years ago since our one big tour that we did. We did like Michigan, Indianapolis, Chicago, like the Midwest.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And like life got in the way, so it's we've been kind of pushing it back until this year. But like this year we want to take on like the East Coast, and then from that really build to going out to the West Coast and really
Yeah.
doing stuff because But see, here's the thing: as an artist, like nowadays, like even though we've never been to California, we're still interacting with bands, all day long. You know what I mean? And I think and not just California, everywhere, but like social media has really like brought it together as an industry. And I think honestly, for artists in the future, they definitely got to utilize that.
Yeah.
Being the global age definitely has its advantages.
Yeah.
For people like us.
What are your more like long-term goals as a band?
Well, so I definitely want to get a song to 1 million streams. That has definitely been a goal. I definitely want to play. So I definitely want to also not only with like the streams, like also play in front of like 5,000 people or 10,000. You know what I mean? I want to keep growing as a band. I never want to stop growing and really Zane.
He just wants to do it until he's like 50.
No, I'm gonna do it until I'm like 80, 90.
So for me personally, I have kind of a picture of what I want. Do you have any type of band that like you show your friends and it's something that you grew up with, but like nobody really knows it, but when they hear it, they're like, "Oh yeah, I like that. I vibe with it."
Yeah.
I want to be that, where
that
like
makes sense.
10, 20 years from now, or even 50 years from now, people listen to it and they're like, This is a vibe.
Yeah, like it ages well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, see, and that's why, like in the songwriting, like I don't know. I feel the need to make it timeless, and also another thing too is I try to keep in mind that it may be a little out there, but like this would be. I'm trying to write music that people would grow up with. You know what I mean? Like he said, like that is definitely really a strategy to make really good some really good songs.
Yeah. How do you describe your music to people?
So like definitely multi-genre. Like we really try to like expand our genres. Like we definitely have like an alternative early Nirvana kind of sound, but we
had
also
to employ a second drummer just so that we could split our sound to the fullest.
Yeah, I mean like we got so many moving parts that like we can do metal stuff, we can do indie stuff, we can do like psychedelic stuff, and I think a band shouldn't be limited to one genre. They should be able to expand on it. And like how would I describe it? Like some songs, they're hard hitting, they're anger filled and some are just like I don't know, just a vibe and just really I don't know, something you can connect with and really just, while you're cruising down the street or doing the dishes or doing whatever, really.
So, when we're writing stuff, Steve will just kind of come to me and be like, "Hey, this random, just like part from some old song? Hey, why don't you jam on this for like an hour and see what you come up with, and then that's what we'll use."
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know, like, kind of that in the heat of the moment when I'm writing stuff, like, I show him, some of the parts, and, like, he would chime in, and I don't know, it's kind of like a feedback loop, really, because, like, we're able to collaborate, and it's not just us, it's also our two drummers, Julian and Al. All four of us really just bounce ideas off of each other, and really I think that is how you're gonna make it as a band, because all four people have to be not on time
or three
but
or
like but like we all have to be on the same page in order to make it somewhere, because like this is cut and dry. Like the music industry is not easy, because there's so much competition, really. There's so many good bands. How do you stick out from that? You have to be on point and you have to be precise, really.
You have to know yourself too. You have to
Know your
be
strengths
willing
and
to stand out where you know you stand out.
Yeah.
and really exploit that. Yeah.
How do you handle mistakes during a live performance?
What's a mistake?
Dude.
Have you ever listened to jazz?
So that is one of our biggest strengths as a band, particularly me, Zane, and Al. Like, in a live setting, even if we, mess up a particular part, mentally for me or mentally for all of us, really, we're kind of like, oh crap, but like, let's move on to the next part.
Yeah.
We always listen back to it because we record our sets, and like, it doesn't even sound like a mistake.
Yeah.
Like, the people in the crowd wouldn't really even notice it was a mistake to begin with. And like, I don't know.
So Steve has this habit of every once in a while he'll throw a song into like one of our sets for the night, because we'll come up with our set for what we're doing, and he'll just throw in some random song that like we haven't played in 2 years.
Yeah.
Like, even
It's kind of funny.
practiced
It's kind of funny though.
and we'll start it. Everything's going good for like maybe the first 20 seconds. But then something will happen to where like we have no idea what we're doing, and then we'll just break out into another song, and it's so seamless that when we listen back to it, like he said,
Yeah.
you can't tell. It sounds totally planned.
That's awesome.
And the ability to do that, like, none of us have a tempo going in our heads.
Yeah.
So we're just watching for those cues. As soon as we get that cue of, okay, we're doing this now.
Yeah.
Okay, we're doing this. Okay, let's just move on to this.
Yeah.
Like,
Gotta stay on your toes.
yeah, that always on your toes and always able to roll with it is just great.
Which I think that was really gained by in 2020.
Experience.
In 2022, we had I think it was 30 shows in that entire year, which every show we were getting better and better in terms of like being attuned to each other, in terms of the cues and all that, but also limiting the mistakes. You know what I mean? Like,
In tune to the crowd as well.
oh yeah, and because really you have to make sure the crowd's having a good time. You know what I mean?
And seeing different crowds from like different markets all over, because we travel a lot, so we try to get like a really dynamic range of what we're really doing with this, and it helps to understand like the feel that you're going for with each night, with each show.
It's definitely a growing experience. Who are your favorite musicians to listen to?
Well, I've actually spent like the last day listening to Gosnick, since Steve pointed them out earlier. Who did I pass out to on the ride up here? I've had like 20 minutes of sleep.
Yeah, I don't know. I used to probably been off a monster, but like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Breakfast of Champions.
I definitely like a lot of hip hop as well. Like, some of my hip hop favorite artists would be like Kid Cudi, Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
Also the old
Infected Mushroom
Also-
for me.
I think that's an EDM thing, right?
Yeah.
Also like the whole 90s like East Coast West Coast rap, that is some gold. Like Tupac, like Biggie Smalls,
Yeah.
that is some good artists. Which also I try to, it's cool because like for me, like I can pull stuff from like the rap community and translate that into the rock community, and kind of it has this like cool like mesh, if you will. And like, I don't know, because we were able to, I don't know, I feel like we also attract hip hop crowds as well because of that.
It's a very nice dynamic.
Oh,
I gave
yeah.
it some listens, and it's pretty good. I like it
Oh,
a lot.
thank you.
What is the biggest problem you've had to overcome so far, whether it's like with traveling or like writing a song?
Well, I think honestly, like, so me and Zane, we were living in Canal Fulton, which is like around Maslin, Canton area.
Yeah.
And we wanted to, he wanted to, long story short, he wanted to buy a house up in Akron, and he invited me to move in with him. And so what essentially happened was, like, during that, like, month or two, like, we couldn't really do anything band related because
Yeah.
we were, worried about all the, transferring, all the
Yeah.
moving stuff. But, like,
It became an itch.
well, and then we kind of like we took a break from the band, and like it was like we dipped down to like 110 monthly listeners, and in that moment we really looked at each other, and as a band was like, do we even want to continue doing this?
Yeah.
Because it was getting a little too much. But like we kind of dug our heels in, we relaxed. And then we came out of there, started doing shows again, and by the end of the year, we were at like 2,900 monthly listeners.
Oh, wow,
so
that's
like,
awesome.
so we were able to bring that back, which I see, that was probably the biggest accomplishment, if you will, because I know a lot of bands that just end after like 1 or 2 years, like.
Yeah.
But
We faced a couple of challenges like that. I was actually going to mention a couple of years ago when it was just me and you. I remember doing a show where just the two of us went out on stage, and man, it was terrible. I will not lie, it was terrible.
Oh, man.
But we were so dead set on, we're going to go out there, we're going to have fun, and if it's good, they're going to have fun.
Yeah.
And people still came up to us afterwards and said, that was great. I felt it. I was dancing along. So, you can always bring the energy to get people into it.
Yeah.
It doesn't take the dynamic that they say where, like, you have to have a guitarist, a drummer, a bassist, maybe 2 guitarists,
Yeah.
all this extra. You don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen one person go out on a stage with just a guitar and do a more energetic show than a band of 5 people.
Yeah.
Like doing metal.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's crazy too.
And it's insane.
If you could change anything about the music industry, what would it be and why?
I would make it pay more.
Oh man, that would make everyone's life a little bit easier.
Yeah.
I think there should be a lot more venues like in our area. Like, it's kind of sad to see in like the Akron area with Annabelle's and the Empire closing. Like, really good venues are closing down, but like I just think we should have more venues so that we can all have very diverse crowds at each of them.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, I feel like that would just help smaller bands getting into places and getting up on their feet as a band.
Yeah, opening up more opportunities per se.
Right.
So, one of the changes I'd like to see, which I do actually see like kind of a resurgence of this, is people just going out and playing music wherever they just decide to.
Yeah.
And that being like more of a common thing. 'Cause I always think it's weird that people think odd of just setting up in some random place and doing a show, even if nobody's there. Like,
Yeah.
even if it's just for a camera or something.
Yeah.
Well, that is about everything I had planned. Was there anything specific you guys wanted to talk about?
Well, so our next 2 shows is going to be March 9th and March 10th. And like I said earlier, they're going to celebrate our 5-year anniversary. And depending on when this comes out, we're going to be announcing on those days that we're going to fully announce Julian as our new member. And I know we kept referring to him as the drummer, but like, it's so much more dynamical because he's able to play guitar, He's able to sing. He's able to play drums.
And so is our other drummer.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's able to do vocals and stuff. So like, I don't like, holy crap. But like on the social media post about that, I'm not gonna say here's our new drummer.
Yeah.
It's our new member because, and I think that's what people should know because we're gonna be interchanging, different people on different things because honestly, like that'll be able to just expand the sound even further than even what 3 people can do, which is really cool.
Make it very versatile.
You got anything?
So Steve's gonna go, man, but I like to collect kind of random information. So how long have you been walking for?
Walking?
Yes.
I am 18, so probably about 17 years.
Okay. You have a very fast walk.
Oh my gosh, dude.
But my follow-up question to that
Yes.
is, would you say that you're a professional at walking?
I would like to think not. I tend to trip over my own feet a lot.
Same.
No.
The speed of my walking has been commented on before, though. Like, I'll be at the store with my mom, and she's like, "Why are you running?" Like, Jamie, I'm not. Okay, like, I don't know what to tell you.
So, not viewing yourself as a professional walker, would you be comfortable to train someone else how to walk?
I feel like I would second guess like myself too much because like I walk on like the insides of my feet. Like I trip over my own feet. Like my heels will like smack each
What?
other sometimes. It's
What?
How does this have to do with music?
Completely lost. It has nothing to do with music.
Well, okay, this is a good segue, but
Thank you, though.
this is a good segue. But like, so on the 9th, we're gonna be playing at Buzzbin in Akron, and then on Sunday, we're playing at the Winchester up in Lakewood, which both of them have been really good to us. So like, it's really cool to celebrate our 5 years, and I think it's crazy that like, we have music that is literally years old. Like, but like, thank you for having us.
oh, of course. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, I think this was a really good opportunity.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.